How many times can a person trip and fall into a series of secret text messages, a hidden dating profile, or another person's bed before it stops being an accident and starts being a strategic trajectory? Behavioral observations suggest that the word mistake is the most powerful weapon in a deceptive woman's vocabulary because it's designed to do one thing: delete the intent. When she looks you in the eyes with tears running down her face and tells you it was just a mistake, she isn't asking for forgiveness, she is asking for amnesia. You are the victim of the semantic shield. She is using a word meant for spilling milk or forgetting a birthday to describe the systematic demolition of your trust. You are witnessing a psychological operation where the months of planning, the lying to your face, and the hiding of the phone are all compressed into a single harmless-sounding event. You are the victim of the intentional erasure. Today, we are breaking down why the mistake is a myth used to keep men from seeing the blueprint of betrayal. We are looking at the micro-choices of infidelity, the science of the calculated lapse, and why believing her mistake is actually a mistake you will pay for with your soul. If you don't watch this until the final second, you are choosing to believe in a fairy tale while she writes a tragedy with your life as the main character. If she had time to hide the evidence, she had time to realize it wasn't a mistake. She just regrets that her plan didn't include getting caught. This channel is for men who reject control, resist distraction, and refuse to break. If that's you, you belong here. A lady told me men today have lost their standards, no longer have the focus, discipline, and backbone to stand together. I didn't respond with words. I built this brotherhood instead. This channel was created to challenge that assumption. Every man who subscribes is evidence that strength and self-respect are still alive. Most men will watch this and still go back to their old self. This channel is for the few who won't. If you value truth, control your impulses, and know your worth, don't leave. Subscribe, support the video, and leave a comment so I know you're serious. If you're ready to move differently from the rest, stay because you're at the right place. We have to talk about the anatomy of the calculated choice. You see, brothers, a mistake is something that happens in a split second without thought, but behavioral patterns show that infidelity is a ladder built one step at a time. It starts with the private conversation she didn't tell you about. It moves to the inappropriate boundaries she allowed to be crossed. It progresses to the hiding of the screen when you walk in the room. You are the victim of the gradual escalation. By the time she is in a position to make a mistake, she has already made 500 small, conscious decisions to betray you. When she says it just happened, she is asking you to ignore the laws of physics and psychology. You are being neurologically gaslit. She is trying to convince you that her brain simply turned off while she was driving to another man's house. This leads us to the minimization protocol. If she can convince you it was a mistake, she can convince you that she is still a good person who just had a bad moment. You are the victim of the character preservation play. She wants to keep the security you provide while she processes the shame of what she did. The most dangerous part is the weaponized vulnerability. Behavioral observations suggest that when a woman is caught, her first instinct is to use crying as a way to shut down your logical questioning. You want to ask about the who, what, and where, but she makes you feel like a bully for asking a woman who is already hurting. You are being emotionally hijacked. You end up comforting her for the pain she caused you. You are the victim of the emotional inversion. I want to tell you about a man named Dominic. Dominic was a kind-hearted man who believed in the best in everyone. He had been with his girlfriend, Janine, for 4 years. One night, Dominic found a set of messages on Janine's laptop that proved she had been seeing an old friend behind his back for months. When confronted, Janine collapsed into tears. She told him it was a terrible mistake, that she was confused and that it didn't mean anything. Dominic was the loser in this story because he chose the false compassion. He looked at her tears and saw remorse instead of regret for being caught. He spent the next year of his life trying to heal the relationship. He took her to counseling, he bought her flowers to rekindle the spark, and he blamed himself for not being present enough. He was the victim of the responsibility theft. He took her mistake and turned it into his failure. 2 years later, he found out she had never stopped seeing the guy. She had just become a professional at hiding it. Dominic failed because he didn't realize that a woman who calls a 6-month affair a mistake is a woman who has no respect for the truth. He lost his prime years chasing a ghost because he was too nice to call a lie by its real name. He was the victim of the perpetual deception. You have to recognize the behavioral baseline of sincere regret. Sincere regret doesn't use excuses. Sincere regret doesn't call it a mistake. Behavioral patterns show that a person who is truly sorry takes full ownership of the intent. If she is still trying to find a way to make it sound accidental, she is still protecting the lie. You are being informationally starved. You are the victim of the truth drip. She gives you just enough to keep you from leaving, but not enough to let you see the full picture. The loser's loop is the man who thinks forgiveness means forgetting. You think that by moving on, you are being the bigger man, but you are the victim of the boundary dissolution. Behavioral patterns suggest that when you accept the mistake excuse, you are teaching her that there is no price for betrayal. You are being psychologically devalued in her eyes every day you stay after the mistake. She doesn't see you as forgiving, she sees you as vulnerable to manipulation. The final stage of this first section is understanding the biological toll of the unresolved lie. This is where your body starts to reject the relationship even if your mind is trying to save it. You have insomnia. You feel a sense of disgust when she touches you. You are being physically warned by your own nervous system that you are living in a den of thieves. You are the victim of the somatic alarm. The man you were meant to be is a man of absolute integrity, but you are living in a relative reality. You have to realize that you cannot build a future on a mistake. You can only build it on the hard rock of truth. There is a terrifying difference between a lapse in judgment and a systematic breach of character. Behavioral observation suggests that when a woman uses the mistake narrative, she is trying to bypass your logical firewall by appealing to your empathy. You see her crying, you see her shaking, and your masculine instinct is to protect and fix. But what you are actually seeing is the performer's pivot. She is pivoting from the aggressor who broke the bond to the victim of her own poor choices. You're the victim of the empathy trap. She is counting on the fact that you are a good man who believes people deserve second chances. But in the world of high-stakes loyalty, a second chance is often just a second opportunity for her to hide the trail better. You're witnessing a psychological maneuver where your kindness is being weaponized to keep you from enforcing your boundaries. You're the victim of the compassion weapon. Today, we are finishing this breakdown by looking at the neurochemistry of the double life, the pattern recognition of the repeat offender, and the mastery of the final walkaway. If you don't stay until the very final word, you are choosing to stay in the fog while she plans the next accident that will break your heart. We have to talk about the science of the premeditated lapse. You see, brothers, the brain doesn't just forget a partner exists. Behavioral patterns show that for a woman to engage in infidelity, she must first perform a cognitive decoupling. She has to mentally unhook herself from your protection, your home, and your future. This isn't a mistake, it is a psychological departure. When she says, "I didn't mean for it to happen," she is lying to the basic laws of neurology. Every step toward another man requires a decision node. Deciding to reply to the text is a node. Deciding to meet is a node. Deciding to lie about where she is, that is a calculated operation. You are being neurologically deceived. This leads us to the false remorse barrier. Most men confuse guilt with remorse. Guilt is feeling bad because you got caught and your life is now difficult. Remorse is feeling the actual pain of the person you hurt. Behavioral observation suggests that if she is still calling it a mistake, she is only feeling guilt. She isn't sorry for what she did, she is sorry that she has to deal with your reaction. You're the victim of the self-serving apology. I want to tell you about a man named Elias. Elias was a high-level strategist who lived his life by a strict code of discipline. He was with a woman named Monica. One weekend, while Elias was away on a business trip, Monica went to a reunion and ended up staying at an ex-boyfriend's house. When Elias found out, Monica went into the mistake script. She told him she had too much to drink and that the atmosphere just took over. Elias was the winner in this story because he chose the sovereign verdict. Elias didn't yell. He didn't even get angry. He simply looked at her and said, "A mistake is a typo. A mistake is taking the wrong exit on the highway. What you did was a series of choices that required you to forget I existed for 48 hours. I don't negotiate with people who have selective amnesia about our commitment." He was the victim of the attempted manipulation, but he shut it down instantly. Elias realized that if he accepted the mistake excuse, he was essentially giving her a license to repeat. He ended the relationship that night and never looked back. 2 months later, he found out Monica had been planning to reconnect with that ex for weeks. Elias won because he understood that the first lie is the only one you should ever listen to, because it tells you everything you need to know about her capacity for deception. He won because he valued his clarity more than her company. You have to recognize the biological signal of the pattern recognition. This is a biological fact. Your brain is designed to see patterns to keep you safe from predators. When she calls it a mistake, she is trying to break your pattern recognition. She wants you to see the event as an isolated incident. But behavioral patterns show that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If she can lie about the big things and call them mistakes, she is already lying about the small things every single day. You are being psychologically dismantled by a woman who wants to keep you in a state of constant confusion. You are the victim of the isolated incident myth. This leads us to the resurrection of the sovereign standard. You see, brothers, a man with standards does not accept accidental betrayal. You have to realize that your trust is a non-renewable resource. Once it is spent on a mistake, it is gone. Behavioral observations suggest that men who try to make it work after a major betrayal end up becoming detectives instead of partners. You spend your life checking phones, tracking GPS, and wondering who she's talking to. You are the victim of the surveillance prison. You have traded your freedom for a relationship that is already dead. The winner's protocol is about the sovereignty of the final exit. You have to look at the situation and realize that you are the architect of your own peace. You don't need her to admit it wasn't a mistake. You don't need a full confession. You only need to see the disrespect in her choice to lie. You are being hardened for the future. You realize that a woman who respects you will protect your heart even when you're not in the room. If she didn't protect it then, she won't protect it now. You are being reforged. You now know that the word mistake is just the white noise of a person who isn't ready to be honest. You are the master of your own psychology. You don't need to fix her, you just need to release her. You are the sovereign man. You are the master of your own destiny. You don't look back at the tears she used to hide her tracks. You look forward at the strength you found when you decided that your life is too valuable to be spent on someone who accidentally forgets you. So, here is the smart question for the brotherhood today. If she truly believes her betrayal was just a mistake, why did she work so hard to make sure you never found out about it? I want to hear from the men who were told it was just a one-time thing, only to realize later that it was a lifestyle. How did your life change the moment you stopped accepting the mistake excuse and started demanding respect? For the brothers currently trapped in this cycle of forgiveness, are you going to keep waiting for her to change, or are you going to change the locks? Drop your story in the comments. Your experience is the armor another brother needs to protect himself from the next accidental betrayal. This channel is for men who've stopped carrying responsibility for other people's decisions. If that's you, don't drift away. Stay. Subscribe, support the message, and let your voice be known in the comments. We're building clarity here, and this is only the beginning. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay cold, stay in your power.